Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the Tom Sumner program. My guests this hour, I'm already envious. They've been married for over 25 years. I was married for 21 years. Took me 2 wives to do it. Blake serves as an associate minister, Sunday school and Bible study teacher. Alicia is an anointed author, motivational speaker, mentor, and teacher. They are Alicia and Blake Scott, and they join me now in the studio. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Good morning, thank you.
And thanks for being here. And I should have mentioned. Now, it's Reverend Blake?
Yes.
Should I call you Reverend or Blake or
Blake is fine.
or
Just
or
Blake is-
Henpecked? No, I'm kidding. I was looking at the book. You have a book called A Solid Foundation that addresses issues of marriage.
Yes.
And there are certainly people who could use a little work on their marriages, and I am not the person to do it. Having been married a couple of times myself. But the first thing that jumps off out of the book at me is how to take intimacy to the mountaintop. When people look at the book, do they just automatically turn to that chapter?
They probably
They
do.
probably do.
They probably do.
Yeah.
So we wanted something to be captivating, but we wanted something also to be realistic. And so we share our testimonies and we share our own personal life experience of marriage, being married for 25 years. And we share some of the do's and don'ts, and we share some of the perspectives of men versus women, because women have a totally different perspective on sex in the marriage. And so
It's been my experience, women have a pretty different perspective on just about everything.
yeah, that's why we're gonna
Yeah.
present our readers with 3 perspectives.
Well, and that caught my attention too. And in fact, it kind of jumps off the cover of the book. A Solid Foundation, Marriage from 3 Perspectives. Aren't there usually 2 perspectives in a marriage? What's that third one all about? It sounds almost like it might be a little spicy.
The third one is from God's perspective. You know,
Very well.
God had placed the blueprint of marriage in the Bible, and
Marriage is a religious institution, isn't it?
yes, it is. Yes.
And people kind of forget that. You know,
Yes.
I had one church wedding and one JOP wedding, and I'm not the person to weigh in on which one works better,
Yeah.
because they both failed. But in all seriousness, when people talk about marriage, especially in these days of talking about marriage equality,
Yes.
and looking at there are same-sex marriage is a huge issue.
Yes.
And what is your take? Because marriage is a religious institution, we now have this situation where it's become politics.
Yeah.
Marriage is politics now.
Yeah. It is.
Is that flying in the face of God?
Well, you know,
We talk about the real
Yeah,
stuff here,
yeah,
Reverend.
Yeah. and if you look at it, the world has tried to redefine marriage, tried to change it from what God.
Well, there are
had
people
intended.
trying to change gender
Yeah,
assignment.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, we're going through
Yes.
all kinds of changes.
Yes.
But is there, at what point did marriage become an instrument of the state and not of the church?
I'm not really sure. If you look at it, the things have really changed, and the institution of marriage has changed within the last 10 years. You know, if you look at it,
There have been big changes in the
Yeah.
last 10 years, but
Yes.
it's been going on
for a long time.
50 or 100
Yeah,
years.
Yeah, but God has defined what marriage is from the beginning with Adam and Eve in the Bible, and men have redefined marriage, and you have to look at it. God intended
Do you
marriage
mean-
as a covenant.
Do you mean men, the gender, or mankind?
Men,
When you say men have changed it,
Man.
yeah,
are you,
mankind.
you mean people have
People.
changed it?
People. mankind has changed.
I wanted to kind of
Yeah.
underline that because,
Yeah.
you know, it would be easy to think of that as a gender thing, and we're gonna be talking
Yeah.
about gender attitudes as this unfolds this
Yeah.
hour.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you look at it, in our book, you know, men and women have totally opposite perspectives on marriage. You know, or different needs in the marriage. You know, the woman has a different need than the man, and what we try to do in our book, Marriage from Three Perspectives: A Solid Foundation, is try to give some tools to try to bridge that gap. You know, because there is a gap of
If-
how the woman thinks and how the man thinks
If
within marriage.
if we dare put God on hold for a moment,
Yes.
and talk about the male perspective and the female perspective, and I agree they're different. And
Yeah.
of course, the celebrated book,
Yeah.
Mars and Venus, and
Yeah.
you know all
Yeah.
of that. But are they compatible?
Is a man and woman compatible?
Are the opposite points of view compatible with each other, or do you have to alter?
Right.
Yeah.
You have
Do
to
you,
be
do you
willing
get
to
where I'm
submit.
going with
Right.
that?
Right.
I don't know that I've nailed the question, but
Yeah.
but at least the idea.
Yeah, you have to alter your thinking and have to alter
Choices.
how you the choices that you make within the marriage, and you have to be how do I say this? How you have to be able to take into consideration every choice that you make, every decision that you make. You have to take into consideration of your wife. You know,
How it's
just
going to impact or influence.
before, when it was just yourself, it's easier to make decisions. So when you make decisions after you're married, you have to take into account the perspective of your wife, you know, and it's not easy. It's still a learning thing. I'm still learning, still going through learning, and still learning to place my wife in all of my decisions. You know, it's not easy.
And Tom, we liken marriages to building a house. And so my husband and I have had the opportunity to build a home a few years ago. And in every decision we made in that building phase, that building project, we had to come to an agreement before we could move forward.
Sure.
And so even in marriage, it's just coming to an agreement. And sometimes you don't agree. So you have to agree that you disagree.
Yeah.
But yet and still you move forward in peace. You know, so it's just coming together.
Yeah.
And having the mindset that you're going to be willing to change some things. You're going to be willing to submit to one another,
Yeah.
and to make this thing work. It's going to be 100-100, not 50-50.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The sum game. We have to take a short break here, but we're going to talk some more because I'm starting to get some insights. Maybe I'll learn where I went wrong so many times.
We still go wrong.
But we're going to take a short break. We'll be back and talk more with Blake and Melisha Scott, the authors of A Solid Foundation: Marriage from Three Perspectives, and we probably should get God off hold because we don't want to take off the big guy. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. Let our broadcast partners squeeze a few words in edgewise. And for those of you streaming us at TomSumnerProgram.com, here's Rhonda to tell you about some cool and great things to do in and around Flint and Genesee County.
The Tom Sumner Program.
So you kept looking over there, so I was like, wait,
Yeah,
is
that's
it a
how I
certain
tell.
amount? Okay.
When
we're
This
right
is a
on time.
countdown for the next segment.
Okay.
You know, now it's going to do it, a couple times. Gets really confusing in this one because it counts down every break in the break. So there's 4 spots put together, and it counts down all 4. But usually once we get into the blue area, then it's counting down that whole